Hey guys, Frank here, Godzilla Island of the Mazer Squad, with a review of Mega. This graphic novel comic compilation is the first volume, hopefully of many, by Salvador Sanz, who is based out of Argentina, actually. This comic was translated into English. Salvador is the sole person involved with the art and writing of this comic. The art, which you may have seen me share on Twitter a few weeks ago when I read this, is outstanding. I mean, just from this cover, I mean, just look at the creature. This is the Sentinel, or Mega as they call him in the story. They're all the monsters, kaiju, whatever you want to call them, seem to be made out of this dark stone. This is also put out by Stonebot, which many of you may be seeing lately right now everywhere, because if you're reading the Kamen Rider 01 comic series, Stonebot is the one that is helping put that out. And if you're reading the Kamen Rider Kuga manga, which has been translated to English as well, is also being put out by Stonebot. So Stonebot's been busy lately with the kaiju work. There is already a second Mega graphic novel that has released in Argentina called Rise of the Black Swan. But there's no word on when we will be getting that released here. This came out in June of 2022, so it wasn't that long ago. So I would maybe expect the second volume, maybe June of this year. I'm just gonna give you a little peek inside quick before I go any further. I mean, he has a very dark art. I'm gonna share his Instagram with you guys. You can see his art style, and it's just very dark, but so incredible. A lot of nighttime shots in this book. I mean, just the design of the monsters are just incredible. So let me get into the story for you here, guys. Spoilers ahead here. So this story starts off with what they refer to, chapter 1, as the pastry chef. He has, as you see here, this dagger and a map of Antarctica. And he's making a cake. It turns out he makes a cake in the shape of Antarctica. And then he takes this dagger, cuts the cake, and boom, cracking Antarctica happens. I'm not gonna show you guys everything here. After this page, I'm going to kind of give you a little verbal, and I'll give you some look through. So we get this huge strip gets cut out, and this, I would call it an obelisk style structure, appears, and it slowly starts to open up. And meanwhile, our human characters are introduced. We have Tina and her father Edgar. Edgar's breaking the news to his daughter Tina that her grandfather, his father, has gone missing. His crew was at sea, and they've gone missing. And she's like, "Is Grandpa dead?" And he's like, "I don't know." He's like, "I haven't seen him in years. You haven't seen him in years." So it keeps cutting back and forth to the kaiju eventually rises out of there. Let me show you the kaiju. I might as well show you the kaiju at least. Where is he? There he is. This is our main villain for this issue. They refer to him as the Salamander. So he rises out of Antarctica, makes his way to Buenos Aires, and kind of heads to the center of the city, shoots out lava into the sky, and makes a big ring around him. But as this lava's falling, we got like almost a Pompeii disaster kind of happens. People are getting smashed with lava, ashes going everywhere, and they get pretty much preserved as statues almost because of the lava and ash, and they're like boom, insta killed. Sort of like if you go visit Pompeii now, you see they have the preserved people from the ash in the Pompeii ruins there. It's sort of a similar thing happens on a slightly smaller scale. So the salamander almost starts to build a wall around itself. It builds it has the lava there. And then Mega is awoken. Now, throughout this story, Tina is having these very vivid dreams, and in her dreams she sees this bat-like monster just showing up, watching her a lot. She visits her grandfather's house where her grandmother is, and while she's there, she has a dream of her grandfather, and he tells her, "Oh, there's a horn in my study for you. It's a gift for you. I want you to use it to awaken the Guardian," which is referred to as the Sentinel, Mega. And throughout this story, Tina has these dreams of her grandfather, and each time we get a little more backstory on the history. So it turns out, millions of years ago, before the dinosaurs, the Earth was ruled by these monsters called jackals, is what they called them. They were royalty. And it turns out that little bat monster that Tina's been seeing in her dreams is real. And that's one of the weaker jackals, but not to be underestimated because it is dangerous. It's one of the weaker jackals, and the Mega Sentinel was the lone guardian of Earth. He was in charge of keeping the jackals in line and in prison. So these obelisks that are going to be appearing throughout the Mega storyline are the prisons. So she finally gets the horn, blows it, awakens Mega, and he begins making its way to Buenos Aires to capture the salamander. And what's interesting, when Mega awakens, there's another little structure in the ground. He pulls it out of the ground, and it's like a dagger sword type of thing. It turns out that's what the structure is. Underground, it was a dagger. So the two monsters eventually they end up meeting up. They fight. They have an epic battle, and almost Godzilla style, they fall into the ocean. The two monsters, and the day is saved by Mega. Mega kind of goes back into sleep mode again, and then we see the other salamander falling to the bottom of the ocean, and Mega's dagger is also there falling to the bottom of the ocean besides salamander, and we see the dagger opens up and almost turns into another monster. But it turns out that the dagger is what that dagger monster, let me see if I can find it, is actually what forces the kaiju to turn back into those obelisk-like structures. I'm trying to find a picture to give you an example of it. Here. So it almost turns into like this little spider here, and latches on to salamander and re-imprisons it. It almost webs it up in like this stone, like a cocoon. And then we get a little cliffhanger because we learn one of the guys that was traveling abroad with Tina's grandfather is the one responsible for freeing salamander. And it ends with him about to free the next kaiju. And these are a nice little cliffhanger. We'll see what comes next. It's called the Black Swan. If you follow Salvador Sanz on Instagram, you will see tons of art of the new kaiju and everything. But this book, extremely dark toned. I absolutely love it. I really hope Salvador keeps it up. I mean, it's absolutely amazing work. It's an original kaiju. And they just all have this like super like, I just love this art. It's just, I don't know how to describe it. I'm not an art critic, but it's like just, in my opinion, it's just super dark and really cool. It's absolutely awesome story. I love the designs and everything. So I'm really hoping Stonebot gives us the next volume. I hope Salvador lets Stonebot release it back here in the States again. It even says right here, #1, so I'm hoping that means we have more than just the one. So stay tuned for more manga and follow along with us. If I do hear word of it, I will be letting you guys know. So check out our YouTube channel. Wednesdays is comic book day for us, so we will usually post a short if there is a kaiju or toku related comic book coming out that day. Tuesdays is mangas and Blu-rays, so check for Tuesdays. We don't do it every week. If there's nothing coming out, then we're not posting. We'll be posting regular videos, but stick to the channel, guys, and thanks for subscribing.